If I've learned anything from Andy, it's that your mind is your enemy, not your friend. Very cautious of what you believe, because what you believe is what's going to shape your life. You're like, hey, Brendan, like, what was it? Like, how did you learn to do that? And I'm like, dude, I don't panic when the bell rings and I'm in a negotiation and it's time to close a deal. If you guys want to know the number one skill that's going to have you rich for the rest of your life, it's being able to process issues. My life right now is really hard. I put a lot of voluntary stress on myself because I want to be great. It's crazy, but I love it. Let me explain to you one of the most powerful closing tools of all time. So guys, first thing I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna roll into this and I want you guys to write this down, okay? What are your pillars of your life, okay? I want to ask you some like deep questions, okay? So just FYI, we might not get into some of the tactical stuff that we talked about. Like, I want to save those maybe for the next 5 meetings. Tonight I kind of want to set the tone. I believe that if you build a house on a sand foundation, it's no good. So what I want to do with all of you guys is I want to set the foundation tonight, okay? I want to give you some things that are like have been super valuable for me. So, well, let me like explain to you what the pillars of life mean, right? So, you guys have all heard that life boils down to like 4 things. Some people say it's 4, some people say it's 6. I just did a podcast with a guy that has made millions of dollars and is he's a Hall of Fame. He's a top 10 motivational speaker in the entire world. And he told me he has 9, and I couldn't tell you what they are off the top of my head. I forget, but I want to learn them, but I don't remember what they were. But he has 9 pillars of life. Now you're thinking like, what is a pillar of what do you mean pillars of life? Well, I mean, we all have to have a way to measure our success in life. Okay, what's measured can't grow. What's measured can't increase. Okay, so like I'll give you one example. For me, like the way I measure my life is I measure in 4 areas. Okay, finance, family, fitness, faith. Those are my pillars. That doesn't have to be yours though, right? Some people say that life should be broken down into 6: financial, spiritual, social, career, mind, and then physical. Like some people say that they want to break it down into 6, but whether you think that there's 4 areas or 6 or 9 or 25, I want to challenge all you guys to start define what for you are going to be the 4 or the 10 or however many it is pillars of your life. Okay? And then whenever we talk about setting goals for the new year, like, you know, guys, it's 2025, you know, like month 2 is almost already over. We're almost, you know, 20% of the way through the year. You know, like I want to give you guys a way to measure your life from now on, measure how you're doing. So like when like the other day I was talking to somebody, and they were like, how do you set goals? And I'm like, well, I set goals in 4 categories: finance, faith, fitness, and family. That's how I set goals. Because once you establish what the pillars are, then you can actually figure out how you're actually going to measure them. You can make actionable goals, right? So if you haven't, just in case none of you guys haven't done that yet, you know, like some of you guys this might be elementary, but some of you guys might never think about these things. And, you know, this could be a powerful mindset shift for you. So that's number 1. That's one thing I wanted to cover. Another thing I want to cover is this as we go into this. We call it the performance equation, right? It is knowledge minus leashes equals performance. So if you're taking notes right now, I want you to write down K and K, the letter K, minus L equals P. Okay? And what it means is knowledge minus leashes equals performance. And I'm going to break it down. So knowledge is what you know about a certain subject and your skill level in that area. So most people on this call are on this call to become great businessmen, great sales leaders, great business owners, build a great personal brand, be great leaders. Knowledge is what you know about that topic, right? And that's going to take you pretty far, but it's going to be subtracted by the leashes that you have on your brain, okay? And specifically when you talk about sales, there's 4 types of leashes that people have in their mind around sales, okay? So first one is self-image. So I like, just so you can keep your notes structured. Under your equation, under knowledge minus leashes equals performance, there's 4 types of leashes. That's what I want you to write down. And these are I'm going to give you the 4 types, so you guys can take notes on it. The first type is self-image leashes. Okay. Now, what this means is we all have a way that we view ourselves, right? And I remember, like, I can clearly remember every time my self-image shifted, right? Um, and that right there, dude, like, is not necessarily something that it's not a tactic, it's not a strategy, it's something that you got to work on every single day, right? It's why people are like, well, why would I work out if I want to get rich? Well, because unless you're gonna found a tech company like like Amazon, the next Amazon, or the next Google, or the next Facebook, and you're gonna open a tech company that requires you to do 0 sales or ever put your confidence out there or put yourself out there and for potential failure, you're going to need to like yourself a lot. You're going to need to have a high level of confidence in order to win, you know? Like, my biggest shifts always came when I unlocked that next level of my self-image, my next level of belief, right? So self-image is number 1. Number 2, story leashes. This is the one I'm most passionate about, okay? So I used to tell myself stories that just weren't true, that were holding me back from getting rich. Like, I used to tell myself, well, the market's bad right now. Well, these types of customers, they just don't have money. Or people don't like being sold to. All of that is the stuff that all the people at my old dealership that were making about a quarter as much as me used to say. That's all things that they used to say, right? Those are stories that you're telling yourself that are not serving you. So let me give you guys a quick filter on how beliefs work, right? Dude, I'm about to drop a bomb on you guys, okay? I want you guys to write this down. This is a side note. This is one of my ADHD tangents, but it's going to help you out, okay? So forgive me. Alex Hormozy said, we question every belief we have in life besides the ones we actually believe. So I want you to guys understand this. There's 2 types of beliefs. There is conscious beliefs, and then there's subconscious beliefs. Subconscious beliefs are beliefs that you don't even know exist that are holding you back every single day.
Brandon, can you say that from Alex Hormozy again?
Yeah, we question every belief we have except for the ones we actually believe. So think about it. Like, you got a guy and he's like, I can't become a millionaire, this year. Like, I can't become a millionaire. Like, it's impossible. And you're like, why? Well, because it's always been this way, or it's the market, right? Like, there's a belief, there's beliefs that all of us have them. None of us are safe from these beliefs, right? If I've learned anything from Andy, it's that your mind is your enemy, not your friend. Your mind is designed to keep you safe. If all of us thought logically, we would 100% not be on this meeting right now and not be in sales. I'm just being honest, okay? So none of us are sane, just FYI, okay? But the reason that I'm telling you guys about the beliefs is you have to, like, this is what Andy always tells me, be very cautious of what you believe, because what you believe is what's going to shape your life. So be very cautious. Question everything that you believe, question it. Man, I just can't get fit, man. I work too much. I'd really challenge that belief, because I got a feeling that's bullshit, right? Man, I can't get into sales right now. I could never make $1 million this year because I look young, and they're not gonna buy from me. The customers in this market won't buy from me because they think I'm young. I don't know about that. I think I know people who have done it before. Here's the audit you have to run yourself through to find out if something's possible. Has someone else done it before? And the answer is always yes. And more times than not, someone's done before what you're trying to do under harder conditions. Way harder conditions. Like, I remember, like, Andy calls this a paradigm shift, okay? A guy wakes up one day And dude, this is so powerful. This will hit you guys real hard. So, you wake up one day and you're late for work, and you're like, crap. You get out of bed. You don't talk to your partner, your wife. You don't kiss her goodbye. You throw on your clothes real quick. You walk out the door. You're angry. You miss your morning coffee. You don't have time to work out, make it to the gym. You got 18 calls that just came in on your phone. You're speeding to work. You're driving, and on the way to work, you stop by the gas station, and you're in a hurry, and you're just being rude to everybody around you. And you walk in the gas station, and you see a guy, and he's missing his arms, and the guy's just in the best mood ever. And you're like, what's up with this guy, man? Like, and you walk by the guy, and he goes, hey man, what's going on? Let me buy your stuff. Let me buy your soda. How you doing today, man? You having a good day? And you're confused because you're like, wait, this guy clearly has reasons to be more upset than me, but he's not. He's in a good mood. He's grateful. What's up with him? And he goes, dude, I'm just grateful to be alive today, man. I'm just grateful that God woke me up this morning, man. It's just a great day. It's gonna be a great day. And in that moment, you realize, dude, I'm freaking ungrateful, man. My perspective is real effed up, So, again, the main thing is your beliefs. You got to audit every belief you have. Anything you want to do, someone's already done it under way harder conditions. Let me go back to this belief thing one more time. Are you guys enjoying this so far? Am I speaking facts? Am I doing all right?
You're preaching, baby.
All right, good. Preacher in the pulpit. Come on. All right, so one last thing. We'll move on the leashes, and I got two more I'm going to give you, but on the topic of beliefs, here's how you decide if you should believe something or not. Number one, do you know for certain it's absolutely true? Yes or no? And number two, does it serve you? Does it serve you to believe it? See, if I say people won't buy from me because I'm young. One, is it absolutely true? Hell no. Does it serve you? Hell no. All right, not gonna believe it. You guys feel me? You guys understand what I'm saying? Anytime you have a belief about your what you're capable of, do you have absolute crystal clear proof that it's true? I promise you don't. And just audit your beliefs. Audit all your beliefs. So that's number two is story leashes. The third one is reluctance. Reluctance leashes. Okay. This is fear of certain just certain things, like fear of taking action, fear of rejection, fear of being too pushy, fear of asking for the sale. Okay, Sam. Yes, this call will be recorded, big dog. I got you. That's why I got this big obnoxious microphone right here. So reluctance leashes. Okay, fear of being too pushy, fear of asking for the sale. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys something. One thing, if we're gonna get into closing here in a minute, but one thing that you got to learn about sales is that moment that feels uncomfortable when you're talking to a customer, and the moment they say no, is you can't run from that. You got to get as much time in the paint learning how to overcome those objections as you possibly can. So the other day, we do call reviews every Saturday in the LE group. Every single Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. We go through our CRM. We have every Zoom call recorded. We pick out 2 or 3, and as a team, 50 people in a conference room, we review sales calls. It's uncomfortable when your calls are being recorded, and your calls are being reviewed in front of 50 people, especially when the call didn't go as you wanted it to, right? It's hard, but guess what? What gets exposed grows. Side note on that for 1 second. A lot of people, for example, the other day, right? I came into the office. Everything was easy all day long. I came into the meeting, I got praised for something I did a couple weeks ago. A lot of my deals, my clients, they were easy to work with. And you know what I realized? I got flattered that day, but I didn't get better. I didn't actually push the needle forward at all. One thing I want you guys to be careful of, I want you guys to write this down. Be careful of flattery. Be very careful of accepting flattery. Flattery is poison. I talked to Patrick Bet David at the vault. So I go to the vault conference every year to learn from Patrick Bet-David. A lot of what I'll teach you guys is some stuff I probably learned from him. He's one of my favorite mentors. And I asked him, I said, what's the main thing that what's your biggest threat to your success at this point in your life? That was my one question that I had for him. And he said, dude, flattery. He said, you know why? He's like, dude, when you get to my level, everybody that meets you comes up to you, man, you're so good. 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 He's like, I don't want flattery. He said, if somebody comes up to me and they start just praising me, he's like, bro, listen, I don't want to be flattered. I want to be great. Flattery is poison. But listen, I'm going to get back on track, by the way, okay? ADD, but we're getting through it. The call reviews every Saturday we do at the LA Group from 8 to 11, they're uncomfortable, right? And one of my calls got reviewed, and luckily it was an awesome call. Like, everybody loved it. But, one thing that I told everybody, like, they had me get up on, in front of everybody, and they were like, hey, Brendan, like, what was it? Like, how did you learn to do that? And I'm like, dude, I don't panic when I'm in that when the bell rings and I'm in a negotiation and it's time to close a deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't panic. Like, I'm completely comfortable in the uncomfortable of negotiating a deal and working out a deal with a customer, working through problems. If you guys want to know the number one skill that's going to have you rich for the rest of your life, it's being able to process issues is the number one skill of rich people. I'm telling you, man, like, I keep learning this lesson over and over again. Like, every damn day of my life right now. Now, I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm being an open book. I told you I'd open up, show you behind the curtain of my life on these calls. My life right now is really hard. Like, professionally, it's just really hard. Like, I have a lot on my plate. I put a lot of voluntary stress on myself because I want to be great. So I have a lot of people that rely on me. So, dude, I just, I like, it's crazy, but I love it. You know what I mean? Like, I've absolutely just fallen in love with it. So yeah, dude, I'm processing issues every single day. And, another thing I learned from Andy is you have to, like, learning how to disarm. I want you guys to write that down too. Disarm. So let me explain to you one of the most powerful closing tools of all time. Okay, because again, like, here in a minute, I'm going to go through that. We're going to go through the sales playbook together. But I know Andy would always tell me this, right? What salespeople do is you got one person sitting on this side of the table, you got another person sitting on this side of the table, and we're negotiating a deal. We're working through an issue together, right? And what happens is what happens in an argument? They start to butt heads. They disagree. They go back and forth. This person talks. Soon they start talking over each other. Before you know it, they're screaming at each other. And now it's just like any chance of a problem being handled is now off the table. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you guys ever been in like an argument either with a customer where you lost your cool, you got triggered, and you lost the sale because now you lost your composure, and then or you're in a fight with your partner and, like, you just let it go way too far, and now you're just, like, completely triggered. So Andy told me that he's like, the number one skill of closers is they can feel when they need to disarm. Like, they can feel when they're getting triggered. A good closer never loses his composure. Never. That would be rule number one of closing. Never lose your composure. Like, I know all of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, all of us have experienced, I bet all of us here have experienced the feeling of missing a sale before. It's the worst feeling ever, especially when you know that customer would have heavily benefited from your product, right? And most likely, when the moment you lost the deal, if you've ever lost one, which all of us probably have, was when they gave you an objection, you tried to overcome it, the friction started, and you got triggered, and they felt it. And the moment they felt it, it was done. It was a downhill slope from there. Like, there was no recovering once they felt it, right? So Andy always tells me, he's like, dude, you got to learn when to disarm. Whenever you're in a disagreement with somebody, you got to be like, hey, listen, man, Like before we go any further, I want to make sure you're heard. Like I'm gonna slow down for a second. Let's slow down. Let me hear you out. Like explain that to me. I want to make sure I truly understand you. I want to make sure you feel heard right now. Because I'm confident that we can get through this and we can work this out. See, when you do that with a client, whether it's a negotiation or an argument, even in a relationship, in a personal relationship, when you say that, you now took the authority back because you became the bigger person. Because most people get triggered. By the way, while we're at it, rule number 2 of sales: always over deliver. If you guys want to know, do you guys want to know the most high leverage thing in the entire world when it comes to sales? It's other people talking about you and the experience they had with you. So my superpower is I don't care what it takes. I don't care if I got to stay up till midnight, 4 a.m. I pulled all-nighters before. If I promise somebody something, like I'll deliver it. Whether it's convenient or not, that's off the table. Emotions, feeling, and my personal gain is off the table when it comes to deals I make with people. So that's another big thing, because think about it. Like if I give Ryan a good experience, Ryan tells everybody about the experience he had with me. And then guess what? If you, by the way, like I know this only applies to a couple of us, because like some of you guys, do sales. Some of you guys own your own businesses. In business, there's what's called CAC, C-A-C. It's cost to acquire a customer. Okay, so just so you guys know, and by the way, you know what's really cool? Here in a like probably on the third call, I'm gonna actually do a little case study. I'm gonna show you a case study of McDonald's. And you're like, why would you educate me on business using McDonald's? Bro, because McDonald's is one of the biggest companies in the world, ran by 16-year-olds, dude. They're doing a lot of stuff right, okay? They know something we don't. So McDonald's knows exactly what it costs to get you to drive through their drive-through and buy a cheeseburger. They know the exact number of what they have to pay in order to get a customer to drive through the drive-through. So we got billion-dollar companies like McDonald's and Apple and Amazon that know exactly what they have to pay to get a customer, and we don't even know how many calls we made today. But my point is, so for those of you that own a business, you need to know your CAC, cost to acquire a customer. What's the average cost it acquires to acquire a customer? The way business works is your entire goal of business is to get your LTV to be more than your CAC. Cost to acquire a customer, LTV is lifetime value of the customer. See, if it costs me $10 to get a customer and their lifetime value is $150, then that means every time I spend $10, I get $150 back. If I had a machine, I could put $10 in, get $150 back. I'd put as many tens as there as I could possibly afford to. So look, whether you guys ever plan on running a business, whether you guys just want to know how your dealership works, or your business that you work for and you do sales for works, cost to acquire a customer, LTV are the two most important metrics to know inside your business, right? And the reason I tell you that is because if you own a business, or even if you're a salesperson, like realize your dealership also has a CAC, or your roofing company, it has, like, and Brian, for example, too, like his dealership, they know exactly what they pay to acquire a customer. A referral, the reason referrals are so great, why you should take care of everybody from a business perspective, is because they cost zero money to acquire. So it's the highest leverage lead a business can possibly get. Because if I pay $10 per customer that I get, but then Ryan brings me one, word of mouth, that I didn't have to pay for, then I just paid $0 for that one, bringing down my average cost to acquire a customer, right? That's my rule number 2 for customers, is always over deliver. So again, guys, I kind of went on a little rant there, but last mental leash that you have to overcome is rules. So rules could be like this: I can't knock after 8 p.m. You can only follow up with a customer 3 times. Never talk about money first. Like, those are all what we like to call rules. They're leashes that hold you back, okay? So I'm going to recap really quick. The 4 types of leashes in your mind are self-image, story, reluctance, and rules. Everybody got that?